Good morning and welcome to Today in Putnam County, hosted by Putnam County Mayor Randy Porter, the show that takes a look at the events and what's happening all around Putnam County, as well as interviews with local, community, and business leaders. And now, sharing his insights and experience, here's Today in Putnam County with County Mayor Randy Porter.
Good day, and thanks for joining us this week for Today in Putnam County. I'm County Mayor Randy Porter. Hope you're having a great weekend. Our show this week, it's about 3 of our big events that are going to be happening in Putnam County very soon. We're going to be talking about Fall Funfest, the Happy Haven Banquet, and the Putnam County Chuckwagon Cookoff. My first guest today to talk about Fall Funfest is Ferran Kefauver, the Executive Director for Cityscape. Hey, Ferran, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you? Thanks
I'm doing
for having
good.
me, Randy.
Absolutely. 28th year coming up for Fall Funfest, right?
28th year, yes.
That's just amazing.
Yeah.
Most events don't ever last that long.
No. And to have a tradition that has stood this long, I think the only year we didn't have it, and I could be wrong, was COVID.
Year.
We had to shut down for COVID.
That was the year that I was chairman or president on the Cityscape board, and I got out of it that year.
Yeah.
so
you had an easy year?
I had an easy year that year. It was a terrible year.
Hard in many, many other
Terrible
ways.
on every other end, but easy on that one. So coming up September 6th and 7th.
Yes. September 6th and 7th, Friday and Saturday. It's always the weekend after Labor Day. People are like, when's Fall Funfest? You can just always bank on it being the weekend after Labor Day every year. And so this year, Friday night.
Kicking off with music.
We're really excited. Friday night's going to be Tech Night. This year, Tennessee Tech has helped sponsor that night, and then they're actually going to bring Tech Boulevard down Jefferson. And Tech Boulevard, I don't believe, has been with us in 4 or 5 years, so we're excited to have them back. The STEM Center's coming. I've heard the Alumni Center, athletics. I heard there might be slime making, the Baja cars, all kinds of different fun events for the kids will be happening on Friday night. And then our music on Friday night will kick off with 6 o'clock is when our music starts, and we kick off with Braden Wall.
Wow.
And at 6:45, we have Chad Hancock. And then headlining Friday night is Sister Hazel. We're really excited about that.
Well, this Tech Boulevard, that's a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that for the kids and the family to come and enjoy that.
And it's going to be in the spot. So typically, WCTE sets up on Saturday with Stations of Imagination, and that space typically on Jefferson there is pretty empty, and so this year we brought in Tech Boulevard to fill that space on Friday night. So they're going to have stuff Friday night and then all day on Saturday too. So I mean, it's going to be a change of events as what happens on Friday and Saturday, and so you may want to come both days.
Well, yeah, and it's a fun time. It's a family event.
Yeah.
It's free.
It is free, and this year the River Community Church is helping us sponsor to make all the bounce houses free again.
Oh, wow!
With lots of other sponsors that obviously make that possible, but they're kind of owning that this year, and we're really excited about it.
So that's Friday night.
Yes.
Kicking off at 6 o'clock. And then Saturday is basically an all-day event about it, right?
Saturday we run 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. and our music doesn't start until 2 p.m. And we kick off music at 2 with Bluegrass Solutions. They're a local band, and they're really good.
They are really good.
We're excited to have a bluegrass feel in the middle of the day. I mean, what feels more hometown than bluegrass on your courthouse square?
That's right.
So we're excited about that. And then at 4 o'clock, Few Miles On is going to play, which actually they played several years back when we did the Battle of the Bands. They were our Battle of the Bands winner, and that was kind of the first time.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Cityscape kind of got to partner with them, so we're excited to have them back at 4 o'clock on Saturday. And then at 6 o'clock, local favorite,
fans. Caleb and Leanne,
yeah. Fantastic.
Everybody loves them. They do a great job.
They do such a good job. They're opening for our headliner at 8 p.m., which is Phil Vassar.
Wow, and I'd forgot about Phil until I saw the lineup come out. To get him to come to Cookville, I mean, that's a big deal.
It is. He's written a lot of songs, had a lot of hits over the years. Just Another Day in Paradise is probably
that's his biggest
hit or whatever. But gosh, I've been listening to some of his stuff, and I'm just like, I forgot he sang that. That's such a good song, and he has a real feel-good vibe to him. So he's going to be fun.
Is it hard? I just can't imagine. I know it is hard trying to line up all these music acts. I mean, the rest of the stuff, I mean, you do every year with the kids stuff and everything, but to line up all these music acts in today's time, that's difficult, right?
It is. It is really interesting to see, before I entered this position, I had nothing to do with the music world. And so learning about, all these different people have different requests and different contracts and different, radius clause. You can't play within a certain, radius of other places. I'm looking at all these things. It's like I say it's a 3D jigsaw puzzle, but
trying to put it all together.
Chad McDonald is our entertainment chair for Fall Funfest, and he does an excellent job of helping me out when I'm like, what does this even mean? So.
Well, they got all these finicky requirements and everything, even to the point of what they want in, I call it the green room.
Yes.
I want a wet towel, or I want a bottle of Pepsi Cola, or
I was on the phone yesterday, actually, on the way home from work when my kids are in the car, and I had the phone on speaker, and I was talking to the manager for Sister Hazel, and he was like, okay, and I'll send you over this, and you just bring it fully bagged to our trailer. And it was like all the different things that they needed. I was like, you're going to have to email me that because I'm not going to remember it. But everybody wants something different. A lot of times these people are really nice and really great to work with. So I'm excited about that. And then, of course, on Saturday, we can't forget about WCTE coming out with
Stations of Imaginations. That's an every year big event, isn't it, for the kids?
It's so great, and what they do and provide for our kids and our families and all the engagement that they bring. It's really neat. They're going to have one of the PBS characters out there, one of the wombats, I believe, from one of the new shows. So we're excited about a character meet and greet again. And of course, they always set up their trailer where the kids can go in and look at what it's like to work in TV, which, my kids think's phenomenal. So,
it is. And WCT is a great partner, too.
They're such a good partner for us.
Working in the community. We're talking about Fall Fun Fest. And I know we're still in August, but Fall Fun Fest comes up Friday and Saturday, September 6th and 7th. It's put on by Cityscape. If you don't know much about Cityscape, you need to check it out. They do a great job in our community as far as making sure that our west side, Courthouse Square, and everything looks great. They've done some great projects, running utilities underground, sidewalks, awnings, all kinds of things. And Cityscape has a great history in our community. Every time I walk into the courthouse, and I'm walking from the outside, and we've got those brick sidewalks, and there's no above ground utilities, and I think about how great it looks, and then driving down the west side and now over towards the hospital, towards Tech. I mean, everything is so walkable and has a feel good feeling about it.
I say it's a Hallmark town,
I think so too.
And I'm just excited I get to be a part of it.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
And we appreciate what you're doing. It's Fall Fun Fest, September 6th and 7th. Kicks off on Friday night with 3 musical guests, Braden Wall, Chad Hancock, and Sister Hazel. And the stage is set up right there on the courthouse square.
Yes. We moved it back to the courthouse last year after it had been on down Washington.
Tried that once. That didn't work too good, did it?
Yeah, people really are nostalgic about things. And so being on the courthouse lawn when you're listening to some good live music, there's something about that. It feels like home. It feels like community. And
it does.
That makes everybody feel good.
I remember last year being up on the stage and looking out at the crowd, and it's amazing how many people turn out for this.
I think it was me and you and Lauren.
It was.
Back there, and we were all three like, there's so many people here.
I mean, they were everywhere.
And we expect even bigger crowds this year with our headliners. We've had a lot of out-of-town people, and this is such a draw for a lot of people. And so hopefully it produces good tourism dollars for our community and just gives our families something to be proud of.
It does, Ferran. You do a great job.
Oh, thank you.
We appreciate what you do. That's September 6th and 7th, Friday and Saturday. Kicks off at 6 p.m. on Friday, starts at 10 o'clock on Saturday.
Actually kicks off at 5 on Friday.
5 on Friday.
But music starts at 6.
Starts at 6. Got Caleb and Leanne, and then Phil Vassar is going to be the headliner coming up on Saturday night. If you'd like more information, go to Cityscape's Facebook page. They have a website. They've got an event set up. It's going to be a great time. Good thing about it, it's all free. It's a great community event that is happening every year, the 28th annual. Thanks, Ferran. Appreciate you being on the show. You're listening to Today in Putnam County. I'm your host, County Mayor Randy Porter. Coming up next, the Happy Haven Children's Banquet after this quick break.
And now back to Today in Putnam County, hosted by Putnam County Mayor Randy Porter.
Welcome back to Today in Putnam County. I'm your host, County Mayor Randy Porter. This week's show, it's about 3 big events that are happening in Putnam County. We just finished talking about the Fall Funfest. We're going to talk about the Putnam County Chuckwagon Cookoff. But in this segment, we're going to talk about the Happy Haven Banquet that is coming up at the Leslie Town Center on September 5th. My guest this morning is Mr. Houston Bynum. He is the Executive Director for Happy Haven's Children's Home. Mr. Houston, it's glad to have you on the show.
Good to be here, Randy.
I was just thinking, you've been on the show for several years now, and the banquet, it comes up as an annual event. It's a great time. But the Children's Home is celebrating its 59th anniversary.
Exactly. We've been around a while.
You have. And I was thinking about what a great service that the home has provided to lots and lots of children, but to our community over the years. I know you're supported by a lot of the churches here and donations and stuff, but it's y'all have been a great asset to the community.
Thank you. Our pleasure to be a contributor to the community and the well-being of families.
You and your wife been there for a while now, right, at Happy Haven?
I'm starting my 15th year.
Wow, that's we're blessed to have you and your wife. So you got your banquet coming up. Tell us about it.
Well, it's at the Leslie Town Center, and that's on 1 West 1st Street here in Cookeville. It's on Thursday, September 5 at 6:30. If you'd like to have a reservation, call us. If you'd like to host a table, call us. There's no charge to either have a reservation or host a table, and it's tables of 8. We have enough to seat 400. We also are soliciting sponsorships. A number of businesses have sent in a sponsorship. They'll be listed in the program, and that helps to defray the cost of the banquet itself. There's an opportunity to give to Happy Haven at the end of the banquet. There's no ticket cost to come in, but we give you an opportunity to donate. And it'll be a great evening. Stroud's Barbecue will again be the caterer. We have the Andersons Bluegrass Band will be the group that's performing this year. And we also have a quilt auction. Some beautiful quilts have been made by ladies, mostly ladies in churches have said, I want to send you a quilt. All proceeds from the auction go to Happy Haven.
Well, those are some beautiful quilts that you auction off each year. The time that those ladies put into those quilts, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of hours. I mean, they are just beautiful. It's almost becoming a thing of the past, though. I'm afraid that generation, the newer generations coming on, they don't get into that kind of stuff, do they?
They would.
I do too. My grandmother was into that quilt, and she'd set hours and hours at a time. And I've got some of her quilts that we actually had sealed up so that they wouldn't yellow or anything, and have them put up and cherish those quilts. If you'd like to be a part of the Happy Haven banquet that's coming up on September 5th, you can call them at 526-2052. That's 931-526-2052. 59th anniversary of Happy Haven. They do a great job. It's a Christian home for children here in Putnam County and have helped numerous families and children over the years. You got a musical guest coming for the banquet this year. Tell us about them.
Well, I haven't met the Andersons, but I hear they're good.
Yeah.
I enjoy bluegrass, and I think most of the folks in the Upper Cumberland do as well, and it should be just a great evening. I will mention as well, we do have openings for children to be residents of Happy Haven. We're a girls' home, and if you have a need for a child to just like talk to us, find out more, again, give us a call if you would like to consider placing a child as a resident at Happy Haven.
Y'all have a good Christian home for them. See each year at the banquet, see the children that have grown up there, and y'all have done a great job and do a great job with your house parents and making sure those children have a safe place and a good nurturing home environment, which today, Brother Houston, is there's a lot of issues out there with drugs and parents in jail or in prison or deceased and grandparents trying to raise kids and so forth. It's sad, but y'all offer a ray of light to these kids that to have a good home to be raised up in, and we're thankful for y'all.
And we provide counseling and tutoring to help them. We're faith-based, and the children go as family unit with the parents to church, and that's important.
It's all part about having God in our lives, isn't it?
It is.
So that's the Happy Haven Banquet. It's the 59th anniversary of Happy Haven. They're going to have their banquet on Thursday, September the 5th at 6:30. It's going to be at Leslie Town Center. They have openings if you'd like to host a table, if your business would like to be a part of the event, if you'd just like to make a donation, or if you'd like to come. It's a free event. You can call at 931-526-2052. The Andersons are going to be providing the musical entertainment at the banquet. If you've never been, it's a great night. Come out and support one of our great 501c3 nonprofits, Happy Haven Children's Home. The way they're funded is based off of donations and sponsors for this event. So, Mr. Houston, I appreciate you being here on the show.
Randy.
Thank you for what y'all do at Happy Haven. Looking forward to being with y'all on September 5th at the banquet.
Thank you again.
You're listening today in Putnam County. I'm your host, County Mayor Randy Porter. Coming up next, the Putnam County Chuckwagon Cookoff after this quick break.
And now back to Today in Putnam County, hosted by Putnam County Mayor Randy Porter.
Welcome back to Today in Putnam County. I'm your host, County Mayor Randy Porter. This week's show is about three of our big events happening in Putnam County: Fall Funfest, the Happy Haven Banquet, and the Putnam County Chuckwagon Cookoff. We've talked about the other two, so it's time to do the Chuckwagon Cookoff. My guests are the brainchild behind the second annual Cookoff, and that's Mr. Eddie Gaw and Miss Frida Gaw of the Lazy G Ranch. Good morning, guys. Glad to have y'all with us.
Glad to be here.
Yes, sir.
So, Eddie, I think you reached out to me a couple of years ago, and you'd been to an event somewhere and had seen this cook-off. Tell us about that and how you came up with this.
Well, we went to a event in Pigeon Forge. They have a Chuckwagon Cookoff every year, and we thought that would be neat, and Frida and I talked about it, and I came back and talked with you, and y'all were so gracious, you as the mayor and the visitors, Putnam County, Cookville Putnam County Visitor Center.
Yeah.
All got on board with us, and last year it was, I think, a sellout.
It was.
And this year, the way it's looking, it's going to be another sellout. We've got more wagons, more overflow wagons this year coming, and it's just a great event. I've had people to call me from Florida, Kentucky, as far as Texas, that people are coming to this event.
So when you think about, maybe some folks, I guess the younger age may not know what a chuckwagon is, but back in the days when they were moving the herds of cattle, they had a wagon called the chuckwagon that they had to cook on it, that he cooked the meals for the cowboys and everything. And so this is basically, these folks have their own chuck wagons that they pull in, right?
Yes. Charles Goodnight started this, the first chuck wagon on the cattle drives and the way they cook. And Frida probably can tell you more about how the chuck wagons were, what they did for the cowboys, on the cattle drives and cook.
There were always a bunch of guys, so that's different.
Yeah.
We got gals and guys coming to the Chuckwagon Cook-Off, but they would get out on the trail, and then they would have to stop about the noonday so that they could rest their animals in the heat, and then that way they would do their one meal for the day would be the chuck wagon. And then once they got the meal prepared for the guys and everybody ate, then they'd rest them a little while, and then they would take off in the cooler afternoon and go a little bit further.
Everything they were going to eat, they're hauling, right?
Yes.
In this chuck wagon. I mean,
Right.
it's
Yes.
something happens to this chuck wagon when nobody eat.
And you got to be thinking about, too, the food couldn't be refrigerated
Yeah.
or anything like that, so they were probably eating more of beans than than bison food. I mean, they could have run one down out there once they got out west, but most of it was something if they were to see along the way and harvest. And so then, but most of the time, it
Dry
was just
goods,
beans,
most of the time,
dried
wasn't
goods, yes.
bread and those kind of things.
Beans and
Yeah.
breads and things like that.
So we're talking about the second annual Putnam County Chuckwagon Cook-Off. It's going to be held October the 4th and 5th at Lazy G Ranch. Never thought Lazy G Ranch, Eddie, would turn out to what it's turned out. I'll never forget the day that you called me and needed, this when I was at 911 and EMS, you needed an address for the farm out there. And I went out there and I thought, what is he going to do? and you built this, you started out with a small barn and stuff. And then I guess probably the best day of your life was when you married Frida, brought her on board.
Yes, definitely.
We'll get that out. You got into the bison and buffalo and all kinds of animals and everything. That's what's made the ranch, right?
Yes, PBS did it. They came out and did a small segment on us. It's on YouTube. It's called Cookville Buffalo.
Yeah.
And but we'd raised cattle for about 40-something years, and then we got into the bison business, and we just love the animal. Bison meat has less fat than chicken or salmon. If a lot of people hadn't eaten bison before, it's a little sweeter taste than beef. That's why we furnish all the bison meat for this Chuckwagon Cook-Off, and they'll cook bison meat. Each wagon cooks the same thing, except they cook it in a different way. And it's bison meat, beans, potatoes, and a dessert.
And they're going to compete against each other.
In each category.
So how many wagons do we wind up with? Do we know?
We have 11 wagons and 3 overflow wagons this year.
It's going to be big.
We should have plenty.
Yes, and so these folks are going to compete against each other in each one of these categories of food. So I have judges that are going to judge those, and then they're going to win prizes and
they
best,
even
right?
judge the wagons. On Friday, the wagons will be judged for authenticity of the wagon, and on Friday we're even having a junior cook-off that so many people are young people are signing up to cook a cobbler.
Learn how to cook on a Chuckwagon.
And it's all cooked with fire.
Yeah.
It's all cooked with wood coals and fire,
Just like
and it's
what
something
they
to see.
They ain't got no microwave, or they ain't got no refrigerator and all that stuff. Everything's going to be just like it was. It's a reenactment, basically, of how it was back then. And I was amazed at the food that these folks are able to cook without using any of today's amenities when it comes to appliances and stuff.
So cool.
It is.
Watch. I mean, I just think it brings back the past a little bit, and it's always fun to go back in time a little bit and think about how we have it today with our microwaves, like you said.
We've got it made today, don't we?
We just got it made so well today.
But let's talk about some of the events. So 2 days. So on Friday, free, you can come on Friday and talk about some of the things that are going to happen just on Friday.
We have a lot of vendors that'll be in and set up, ready to show their wares, so to speak. There's a gentleman coming from
New
Mexico that is like authentic Indian jewelry and things like this that he's done. There will be people with knickknacks and then there'll be food vendors on Friday because they're doing the cobbler on Friday with the kids.
Yes.
But there won't be any cooking on Friday and for the Chuckwagon.
But you'll have food trucks for folks to get
food trucks and things like
and they get to see the ranch and see the bison.
We'll have bison tours. We have cowboy reenactors that'll be reenacting every hour.
They are so
and
they're
amazing.
so real.
I know, and they're so amazing.
And we'll have a kids area for the kids, which they'll be roping. I think they're going to have bow and arrow shooting. They're going to have pony rides, different animals, petting zoo for the kids to do.
Well, these kids that weren't born on ranches or on farms like we were, they never get to see this kind of stuff if they weren't able to come to an event like this.
Yeah. And they do enjoy it, young and old.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you.
Everybody is dressed in period clothes.
Yeah.
You know.
And the visitors don't have to, but if they want to, they can.
They can dress up too, can't they?
Put a bonnet on and have a big apron or wear some cowboy boots. It's just
come as you are.
A little cowboy in all of us.
Yeah,
and we'll do the wagon tours, and it's a little late right now. We're into the rut of the bison, but this morning we had a new baby bison born.
Oh, that's amazing.
Out in the field this morning. So we usually have a few late bloomers. We have one, and people can see the bison up close and actually feed them off the wagon.
My granddaughter last year, of course, I was born and raised on a farm, but bison are different. And when we was feeding the bison, they have the roughest tongue.
They do.
It's
long.
It's
almost like a giraffe tongue.
It is, but feeding those big animals was amazing. I'll never forget after we got done that day with all the cook-off and everything, my granddaughter said, Papa, this was the best day ever.
Awesome.
And you just think making memories with your kids and grandkids.
People don't realize the Native American women use their tongues for hairbrushes.
Wow.
And just to feel that tongue as you feed the bison.
Yeah. And they used all of the bison. They didn't waste
anything. Let's talk about Saturday. That's the big day. You need tickets to be able to do that. We're going to feed you on the Saturday. You get to get a plate of this food and eat and be a part of all of it. Those tickets are on sale at the Cookeville Putnam County Visitors website. You can go there, check it out. You can actually go by the office there by Cream City Ice Cream on West Broad Street. They'll help you if you need it. Tickets are, $25 a person, $10 for the wagon rides, and then the little kids are free, right?
Yeah, and I think
there's
children. There's a children ticket,
like 15 or something
$10
for the kids.
or something like that.
Under 2 or
free. I think
that under the age of 2.
And then we have some family packs. That are there where if you got a family of 4 or 5, you can buy a package and save a lot of money and be able to enjoy all the events that day. And you're going to have Wild West reenactments. We're going to have the Chuckwagon Cookoff and be able to eat.
And there's liable to be some cowboys on the wagons that robbed the people on the buffalo rides.
We had one
too.
last year.
Yeah. They liable to get robbed.
You never know. You never know what's going to happen.
I want to just do a huge shout out to you, Mayor Porter, and the Cookeville Putnam County Visitor Center. This couldn't be possible without y'all helping us. And it's such a great event that y'all help us put on that for everyone to enjoy. And I just hear talks about it constantly. And they can even go to the Lazy G Ranch TN Facebook page, and it's got a link to the tickets where they can buy tickets.
Absolutely.
For this too.
Tickets are going fast, though, so you need to get them. It's going to be on October the 4th and the 5th. So it's going to be at the Lazy G Ranch at 6070 Dotson Branch Road. It's going to be a great time, going to be a fun time. I just see this as this is our second annual event, but it keep going every year because we keep hearing from so many people about how popular it is and how much they enjoyed it and making memories with those kids.
Even the people that's putting the one on in Pigeon Forge, they come to ours to see what we do to make theirs different.
And they've got our cowboys up there.
Doing that now.
Yeah.
Because they are. It's just, and like you say, you can come. If the tickets sell out, you can still come. And there's food trucks there on both days. And I just think it's just makes you smile.
Family event.
Family event, yes.
Let me say this. I appreciate what y'all two do, too, because it isn't just about this cook-off. All during the year, you're having kids, students, classrooms come out, visit the farm, doing these rides and everything, and y'all have been great for our community, and I just want to say thank y'all for that.
Yeah.
Hey, that's our show for this week. I hope you listen to us every weekend today in Putnam County. I'm your host, County Mayor Randy Porter. Hope you have a great weekend, and may God continue to bless our great county.
You've been listening to Today in Putnam County, hosted by Putnam County Mayor Randy Porter.